Is there life beyond the grave? If the soul exists, does it survive death? If so, when did the belief first arise that the soul may reincarnate, to be born anew in another physical body? Before we unlock the future, we must find the keys to the past. I'm Toy Robertson. Join me and open the door to ancient mysteries, beginning now, here on BBC. Now, what is reincarnation? Reincarnation is a philosophical or religious concept that the non-physical essence of a living being starts a new life in a different physical form or body after biological death. While belief in reincarnation is most characteristic of South Asian and East Asian traditions, it also appears in the religious and philosophical thoughts of local religions and some ancient Middle Eastern religions. In many local religions, belief in multiple souls is common. The soul is frequently viewed as capable of leaving the body through the mouth of the nostrils and of being reborn, for example, as a bird, a butterfly, or an insect. The Vindar of Southern Africa believe that when a person dies, the soul stays near the grave for a short time and then seeks a new resting place, or another body, human, mammalian, or reptilian. Amongst the ancient Greeks, the Orphic mystery religion held that a pre-existent soul survives bodily death, and is later reincarnated in a human or more mammalian body, eventually receiving release from the cycle of birth and death and regaining its form pure state. Plato in the 5th through the 4th century BCE believed in an immortal soul that participates in frequent incarnations. Alright, next on BBC channel we have someone that we are interviewing. She is the mother of a son who is currently 4 years old. She describes her son with a cyst in his throat. He's had it since he was born, but strangely enough, he remembers his past life. He remembers that he was a soldier in World War II and that he was killed by a gun, shot to the throat. And now he's back.
Okay, so today I'm going to be talking about my story on reincarnation and why I believe it's true. So I have a son who is now 6 years old, and when he was born with a cyst in his throat. By the age of 4, he started telling me how he was in World War II and how he was fighting and shooting people, and he was getting shot at, and then when they finally aimed at him, they shot him in the throat, and he just felt blood squirting out and everything. And I felt really worried because by the age of 4, you really don't know like what World War II is. You still don't have the knowledge on that. So I felt really worried, and I didn't believe him. I thought he was just inventing stuff up, and I thought he would just he just saw what it was online or something, or someone mentioned it to him. So I started doing research, and I looked up that I started doing research on the deaths of World War II and their soldiers, and I found out that a soldier was shot in the throat, and I think that explains a lot because my son was born with a cyst in his throat, and he was telling me all of this without knowing what it was. Like, at that age, you still don't know what it is. And so I think it really has affected us because he was a gift from God, and God gave him another chance to live. and he's with us now, and that's all that matters.
We have another person that has experienced reincarnation. She believes that she was a woman in her past life. Before coming to this realization, she started having reoccurring dreams.
My name is Annika, and I'm a biophysicist. I started to detect the symptoms when I was younger because that's when they were more intense. And I had a lot of recurring dreams, which I started to analyze. And although I don't study onology, I believe that I have good knowledge of it because of all the research that I did online. So I also like to draw. So after having these dreams, I would draw the woman that I saw in my dreams, down to her clothing, to how she looked, to how her face looked. And eventually I came up with a photo. And then I realized later on that that is me. That was me in my past life. One of the biggest factors that led me to believe that I had another life was just the deja vu that I was having all the time. I mean, what other explanation could there be? No, it's pretty extraordinary.
In 1994, Oprah hosted a show about a little boy who believes he was also reincarnated. He remembers his past life as a soldier, and he was able to actually draw out a map of where he was at the time he got killed.
A few years ago, Chase drew and wrote a description of the day he says he died in the Civil War battle that is so vivid in his mind. Because this is what you wrote. You say, yeah. I can only vaguely remember the Civil War regression, but it was so long ago. But what I do remember stands out clearly. Right now, I see myself crouching on my knees behind a rock. I have some kind of rifle with almost a kind of sword built onto it. I am in some sort of valley or something. What's that word right there?
Here?
Here. You spelled it H-E-E-R. Okay.
Uh-oh.
Here.
I was 8.
You were 8, okay. Here is a down view of it. I love the way you spell view, too, B-E-W. Okay. Here's a down view of it. Then you show the war zone and where you were, and you say, I was shot by somebody here.
Yes.
Okay. Then we turn the page. You say, I'm behind that rock. I am shouting everywhere, not knowing what else to do. Then I am shot right in the wrist very badly, and I have blackouts. Now I'm at a hospital at the camp. The hospital looks like this. And then the cannon. After I'm held, I'm marching back to the battlefield when I see a cannon pass by on something like a cart pulled by a horse, roped down very well. Next thing I know, I'm behind a cannon. Look on the map.
Oprah,
yes.
Can I add something? I've written a couple of articles about their experiences, about other children's experiences. And, someone found the description of the field hospital, and he was a Civil War buff, and he checked some photographs and sent them to us of Civil War field hospitals, and you have these that match the description.
Yes, I was fascinated by this because you described a kind of poles with drapes, but you didn't know what it was, but that's what they had. It was like a tent, which looks like a pole with drapes. Well, yesterday we had Chase meet with an artist, and that artist drew the scenes that Chase described from the past life. Let's take a look at these. Tell us what we're looking at here, Chase.
This was the battlefield. You can see right around here is where I was shooting into the valley, and I was shot by someone right around here. Then I remember someone carried a friend of mine that was in my, I don't know, league or whatever. Regiment, yeah. He carried me back to around here to the hospital.
Down here?
Yeah. It was,
yeah, where those little cabins are down there.
Carried me back to the hospital, and that's when I was healed, and the bullet was taken out of me. And then I remember myself being taken to some cabins of some sort.
Now, how did you know you were black?
I could see it.
Oh,
I could see myself.
Oh, okay. Now, don't you find that, you little red-haired freckled boy here today, that you would see yourself as a black soldier?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sums up everything about reincarnation. If you have any questions, go to bbc.com on our website. Thank you for your time.